Taoiseach, over the last number of years, budgets have reduced income tax and universal social charge modestly, about 300 million a year. But in order to do that and maintain an increased spending, there had to be increases in taxes elsewhere. So last year, for example, the commercial stamp duty went from 2% to 6%. That yielded about 400 million, which paid for the tax reductions on that occasion. In this year's budget, income tax and USC reductions of about 300 million, 350 in a full year, were paid for by a significant increase in VAT on food and accommodation and on hotels, raising about 560 million on the hotel and food sector in a full year. And so, Taoiseach, last weekend you promised to raise the income threshold at which people paid a higher rate from 35,000 to 50,000 over the next 5 years. That's about 3 billion over 5 years. That's anything from 500 million to 600 million a year. That's double the tax packages of the last 2 to 3 years. So clearly then, other taxes, just like this year and last year, will have to increase. Now, we know that carbon tax was on the agenda this year, but the government decided not to increase carbon tax. The SRI, in their study now, have said that there will have to be dramatic increases in carbon tax to make up for our failure in terms of our climate change agenda. And they're saying that households over the next 5 years, at the moment households are paying about €200 on carbon tax, but that could go to 3,000 a year per household by 2024. So that's over the next 5 to 6 years as income tax is being reduced. And all of the scenarios in the SRI are stringent ones. And that's at the bottom end of the scale. There can be higher potential carbon tax increases. You yourself, Taoiseach, on the 5th of August, said that if we're going to meet our targets, that's our climate change targets, which we're clearly not going to meet in 2020, you said we're going to have to grasp the nettle in pricing carbon and increasing the carbon tax in the next couple of years. And you said next year's budget, which is the one we've just passed, must include an increased carbon tax. Now, it didn't for some reason, if Ireland is to meet its obligations to tackling climate change. And you're working on a set of proposals. And Minister Paschal O'Donoghue has also said carbon tax will have to be increased. Now, Taoiseach, my basic question is, can you give us a trajectory on how much carbon tax will rise each year over the next 5 years? Can you give me the same precision on annual carbon tax increases over the next 5 years as you've given us in relation to income tax reductions over the next 5 years? I asked you, could you give me a precise trajectory of the annual increases in carbon tax that will happen year by year over the next 5 years? That's the question I asked you. Minister for Finance has said there will be carbon tax increases. You said in August there will be carbon tax increases. It's all very well to make a specific pledge on one aspect of a budgetary package, which is income tax. But that has to be paid for. And explicitly, you came to us last year and said we will pay for the tax package last year by commercial stamp duty, a once-off windfall, 2% to 6%. This year there is no question, but you could not have done a 300 million tax package if we didn't, or if you didn't, the government didn't decide to increase the VAT back up to 13% on the hotel and food. That's what paid for it. Otherwise, you're going to have drastic cuts in services, in health and education, and you haven't suggested that's going to happen. The bottom line is this, Taoiseach, that we're failing in terms of our climate change targets abysmally. No question about that, no dispute. The SRI are saying that's a reality over the next number of years. It's going to have to be paid for. It's a very simple question, Taoiseach. You have said carbon tax is going to increase, and it should be increased, is what you've said on the record. Can you give me a precise trajectory as to how much it's going to increase? Or is the SRI completely off the mark?
All right, thank you, Deputy.
In terms of 3,000 per household by 2024? I think it's a very fair question. And you will not be able to reduce income tax by 600 million a year without increasing taxes elsewhere. That's an honest position I'm putting to you. And I think you need to be honest with people and say that is what will have to happen in the coming year. And I think you owe to us to give us the same precision as you gave us on income tax reductions.
Taoiseach.